You want to run it 2-1?
Right in front.
You want to
Good.
run it 2-1?
Absolutely.
So let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Yes, sir.
Get the paperwork for this bum.
Get Al Hammond.
Absolutely. I don't need Al Hammond.
Let me call Al Hammond.
I'm my own boss. I'm my own
2-1
boss.
night. Got your hat.
Floyd Mayweather hit Jake in the street and sent him a weird message because he quit his fight with Mike Tyson. Floyd was the first person to make fun of Jake's choice and the first person to tell him straight out not to get involved in something he couldn't handle, but Jake was too proud to listen at the time. Now, with the fight just around the corner, Jake has pulled out, and not only Floyd but every other boxing pro is cursing him for causing all this fuss. Make a fuss. Everyone, there are many ideas about why Jake Paul dropped out of the fight with Mike Tyson. Some say he finally faced truth and became scared. Some people think he might have had a personal reason, but let's be honest, most people think he backed out because he was scared after getting slammed by Mike Tyson, the former unbeaten heavyweight champion. He didn't mince words either.
To win. He couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How's he gonna knock me out? What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock those little guys. How you gonna knock me out?
Tyson's point is crystal clear. Jake Paul couldn't knock out Nate Diaz or Anderson Silva, both of whom are lighter and less experienced in the fighting ring compared to Tyson. This shows the huge difference between facing lighter opponents and stepping into the ring with a heavyweight. Legends like Tyson, known for his brutal knockouts, is basically saying Jake doesn't have the punch to fight at this level. The mention of Diaz's weight stresses that fighting lighter guys is nothing compared to going up against a heavyweight, and the audience at the press conference was not holding back either. They were cheering.
Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Jake Paul. I like yeah. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the fuck out.
Look at Jake's optimism back then, and now he's backed out after such big words. Isn't that a bit stark? Some people think Jake was never interested in this fight from day one. He was just doing it for fame and attention. With podcasts alone talking about this fight, Jake has made millions of dollars, and he's all over the media today just because his name was being mentioned alongside Mike Tyson's pros. They have been telling him from the start not to dive into something he can't handle, just like Lennox Lewis said.
Really bad for Jake Paul. I don't want him to get.
Lewis is a retired professional boxer and one of the best heavyweight champions ever. He's fought and beaten top rivals like Evander Holyfield. Mike Tyson and Vitaly Klitschko know what it's like to face someone like Tyson. He's saying Jake lacks the knowledge and skills to safely compete against top-tier fighters. That the chance of serious injury or a knockout is real, and it could mess up Jake physically and mentally. Lewis's words are a big caution sign to Jake and his team to think twice before going into the ring with someone like Tyson, similar to Lennox. Joe Rogan has also suggested that Jake Paul stepped into the lion's den with this fight after the press conference. Rogan had a chat with Mike Tyson and asked him how he manages to look like he's in his 20s. Tyson's reaction was wild. He said,
raw meat. He goes, you're eating raw meat? He goes, yeah, I'm eating raw meat. He goes, because that's what I'm going to eat when I fight. I'm going to eat him. It's raw meat.
Yeah. See,
I was like, Jesus Christ. He's in the mode. He's in that God of War.
Yes, you heard it right. Raw meat. Tyson's going full caveman with his diet. He doesn't cook it. He just chops it down raw. This isn't just some quirky diet choice. It's a message. Eating raw meat sets the stage for a primal back-to-basics approach to eating. It's all about harnessing raw natural energy. The repeated mention of eating raw meat shows Tyson's mindset. He's focused on primal aggression and battle readiness. Rogan's response emphasizes the intensity of Tyson's mentality, describing him as being in God of War mode. This term refers to an unstoppable, aggressive, and fearless mindset important for high-stakes competition. Eating raw meat is symbolic. It represents raw power, unrefined strength, and a link to primal instincts. Tyson is stripping away modern conveniences and returning to a truly savage state. Rogan's account points to Tyson's holistic preparation. The intense diet and psychological conditioning are part of a plan to enter the fight in the best possible state. And Rogan didn't stop there. Savage mode means Tyson is at peak aggression, focus, and readiness. He's fully committed and emotionally prepared to unleash his full potential. This is frightening for any opponent. Rogan's comment shows the psychological warfare in combat sports, that the mental game is as important as the physical fighters. Fighters use their demeanor and planning to intimidate and unsettle their opponents. That the fear Rogan says Jake Paul should feel illustrates the psychological battle before the physical one. After all this buildup, Jake Paul stopped the fight, and Francis had something to say about it. Francis, a beast in his own right, is a professional mixed martial artist and past UFC heavyweight champion known for his knockout power and athleticism. Ngannou is one of the most feared fighters in the heavyweight class. He holds the record for the hardest punch ever recorded. His victories over top contenders like Stipe Mick, Alistair Oyem, and Junior Dos Santos have solidified his status as a dominant force in MMA. Ngannou's journey from a tough upbringing in Cameroon to being a top MMA fighter shows his resilience and drive. Ngannou's long-standing desire for this fight underscores his dedication to proving himself and achieving his goals. That the repeated emphasis on how long he's waited shows his unwavering determination and readiness to fight. His perseverance, despite setbacks, shows his resilience and unwillingness to be deterred by obstacles. This determination is a crucial trait of successful athletes. Michael Bisping also told Jake Paul that he's playing with fire and it's about to burn him badly. Boxing isn't just brutal, it's deadly, and it's not just the fighters who risk it all, but also the ones who mock it like Jake did. Bisping didn't hold back. He said shame on him for saying that and taking these words so lightly, because the truth is that a lot of boxers die every single year. It's not a game that you play. You don't pick it up and put it down. You're not a part-time boxer. Okay, this is a real sport, a dangerous sport, one of the most vicious, and it's a sport where a lot of people die every single year. Now, who is Michael Bisping? He's a retired British MMA fighter and former UFC middleweight king. This guy's got a big mouth and a bigger punch. He was the first British boxer to win a UFC title and is now a commentator, giving us his not-no-nonsense take on combat sports. Bisping isn't exaggerating when he says fighters die. He means it literally. For example, Benny Kid Parrot died 10 days after a deadly fight. Duke Kim died 5 days after a match, which led to changing the number of rounds in title fights. Stanley Ketchel, a welterweight champ, was shot because of his trash talking. So yeah, Bisping's words carry a lot of weight. He's saying boxing demands respect and seriousness, which Jake seems to lack, and it's not just Bisping. Chad Dawson, aka Bad Chad, repeated the same sentiment. He said, if Jake hits Mike the wrong way and pisses Mike off, what do you think is going to happen even at 57 or 58 years old? With that kind of power, no way, Jake ain't never felt that kind of power. You can't even train for that kind of power, even at 57. Chad Dawson knows his stuff. He's a retired pro boxer and a past light heavyweight champion. He's fought and beaten some of the top names, like Bernard Hopkins and Antonio Tarver. When he talks about Tyson's power, he knows what he's saying. Tyson's power is famous and not something you can prepare for with training. It's raw, natural, and overwhelming. At Tyson's age, Dawson's point about Tyson's power is important. Even at 57, Tyson can land punches that can turn the tide of a fight in an instant. This isn't something Jake has faced before. Dawson is warning that if Jake provokes Tyson, the results could be dire. A single wrong move, and it could all go south for Jake. Remember that wild situation with Mitch Green? Mitch was a heavyweight fighter who fought Mike Tyson in 1986. Tyson won by a unanimous decision, but the real drama happened later in 1988 when Green approached Tyson on the streets of Harlem, New York. This wasn't some friendly chat. It happened outside a clothing shop in the early hours of the morning. Things got hot, and Ty punched Green in the face, breaking his nose and eye socket. That punch was so powerful, it caused real damage, showing just how strong Tyson is. Even outside the ring, Green ended up in the hospital because of his injuries. While it's not directly said he was bedridden for days, the severity of his injuries means he needed a lot of recovery time. It was a crazy event back then, but it's a good reminder for Jake Paul to be extra cautious. Tyson's power is no joke, and one wrong move could have serious effects. So, what's next for Jake Paul? Will he find another fight, or has this experience made him rethink his choices? Only time will tell. One thing's for sure, he's stirred up a lot of trouble and isn't going to live this down anytime soon.